likely to move between these zones if we're going back up. So those are the kind of things you can anticipate. So somewhere on your chart would be a good idea to have that so you can look for these potential range expansion pivots to kick back in. Now we get enough of a push here, we can start ranging from the upside. But right now we're just looking for technical pivots on the low side. There's very little that can be done with a move like that with regards to market geometry on these lower levels. There's, as you might imagine, I've been through these looking for anything, something. Obviously, that's not. 618. So this is just a textbook impulsive structure, right? So yeah, not quite freak out level, but don't be surprised if the lower prices to come. Now note down here we're at 5,300, so we're coming all the way back to that range where we started on the larger time frame at that 50. Well, we had that $100 range from 5,200 to 5,300. So it's all just laying down, just as you might expect it. So there's your new roadmap, right? Which does not suggest that that's a low. That's the everybody's freaking out, but capitulation, not yet. Not yet. I come down here, maybe. Right, this bounce back, that will keep hope alive. So we don't have capitulation yet. It could be coming sooner. Don't want to just take the first pivot. So we want to look for something that would give us some idea of structure here. So if we can get a three-wave correction. Now, so first move up here may not do it. Now, just so if you assume that's the A wave of the fourth wave here, that doesn't mean you couldn't trade it, right? But don't be surprised if you've got this kind of thing happening here. All right, so you might get an A, B, maybe the B is going higher. Remember, here's our 1. So this certainly could go higher. Let me clear some of this up here. All right, so you could very easily see just the A wave take it back and then come up towards the 50 and then come down to this zone. All right, so pay attention to this structure here, because if you want to trade that, you know, you could trade, if you're trading on the long side, you could trade the B into the C, right? You know where you're stopping. So there you go. That's kind of a good, working framework of what to expect, and based on what I can share with you. It's not an insignificant break, but this now we're into a pattern here that's more likely to complete than not, and that would suggest 5,200 is a reasonable target down here. And that is not me saying be a buyer down here. That is me saying that's a likely area of support. If we get a reaction down here, and buy the 2. Don't try and pick the turn. It's just not worth the risk. All right, guys, with that, I will wrap there. I think we did some polling here, and my money is going to I always forget this. So we've got this 3-day trial going on. So if you can find that over on our Twitter feed, and I'll have it posted underneath this video with a link to it. So if you wanted to take a cruise around our members Discord, we're doing a 3-day trial for $7 to get you in here, so you can just get a look at it. You won't have access to everything, but you'll have enough to where you can make a reasonable evaluation as to whether or not it's a community and a methodology that would appeal to you. All right. So with that, I will wrap here. It looks like I'm back with one other coin, as we've done some polling from the members. All right, guys. See you later.
Right. But this could get like a continuation pop, because what you have here is breakout, flatline, breakout. It's like a stair step system, right? So if we were gonna play this one out, you could get it as early as the 20th, right? More than likely, it's gonna take a little bit of time. More than likely, it'll be that's going all the way into December. But I would say
Check.
quick play. If you were gonna have this coin, you would definitely want to have it between the holidays, November 20th to December 22nd, right? And when it breaks out, you should be able to get that's actually 2 lines. That green line just so happens. Perfect. That's all that is right there. That caps with 3-2 right down to 2-6. When it pops, 3. I would say, yeah, that's going after December. But your sell zone on this one, this would be a quick sell, right? Because the market is so weak. I would say that would be your sell zone right there. 56. Like I said, what did we say? Like 6%, 7%. Play small ball, right? That's 15% right there. That's not bad, you know, before Christmas. It's like you got to take what you can get, right? I would say for Bitcoin, anything under 48 is a buy. Given this quick trajectory down, we were just at 65. So if you could buy it at 48, you get 20% buy, right? That's what Warren Buffett talked about. You always make money on the buy, right? And if you can't buy it, and that's why hodling is not to your advantage, it's to the bank's advantage, because they'll hodl you out of every position possible. They make you pay your whole life for that time, right? We don't do that. If it ain't paying, it ain't staying. This one looks pretty good. This one looks like we could pop like 10-12% inside next month, and that's not a bad coin, right? Especially in the top 50. You know, it's probably getting exposure to like a new
pay your whole
exchange,
life
considering
for that time.
Bitfinex is its only exchange.
We don't do that. If it ain't paying, it ain't
And that's
staying.
not a good. This one looks pretty good. This one looks like we could insider trading going on that. So I'm sure they're looking at getting on another exchange, and that's probably what'll cause, you know, this thing, right? So there you go, guys. That's all I have for you. Thank you for joining me. If you're just now getting set up in crypto, you know, you want a resource, a network, a community, you know, check out the #1 Bitcoin group in the world. #1Bitcoin. Type it in on Facebook. We got 20,000 people. 100% completely free, of the people, for the people, by the people. Like I said, I posted this video. If you would have been on my Patreon, you would have got it yesterday. And I said 3 negative slopes on 33 early signal for a pullback. And that's what the video went in to talk about. So a lot of times you just literally look at the intersections, and that'll tell you what's gonna happen next. So like I said, make the step up, you know, get your weight up. Oh, by the way, get your weight up by your silver. Silver is $14 an ounce. You know, get you some silver, get you some Bitcoin. That's what you need to do during this next pullback. Don't let these bobbleheads on TV talk you out of your own money. Buy you some silver and buy you some Bitcoin, and then when you get both of them, you just stack them on top of each other like that. You know what I'm saying? That's what real money sounds like. Listen to this. You know, folks of Bitcoin.com. You want financial freedom? Chart like a boss. Learn the boss.
Like a
method,
boss.
You know what I'm saying? Freestyle on a Fibonacci. You know what I'm saying? My man looking suited and booted. You know what I'm saying? So fresh and so clean. You know, free crypto guide. This is the #1 crypto trading playlist in the world. It's called Chart Like a Boss. Type it in on YouTube. They don't want to load up. It's got so much fire. It's just burning through the data right now.
What is going on here? Let's see.
False Method Products Profit Package. I'm about to
Bitcoin
release
holding.
this to the group as soon as I'm done with this video. I tell you something, ETP and BCH will be on that list for this week's profit package. So there you go. I gave you 2 freebies today. If you want to get the last 5, hit that button right there. Weekly updates, 7 coins every 7 days. The best movers, shakers, and money makers in the market. And then, like I said, the VIP trading group, you know, they got this information almost 36 hours, right? So a lot of times I give these guys the insight into my sight, my foresight. They get the insight into my foresight. You know what I'm saying?
Stellar's doing all right.
And we go keep it moving. We go keep on rolling, keep on rolling. Thank you for joining me. If you in the chat right now, shout your country out. Rhonda Hall, holding it down for Sisters Oregon, Sky affiliated. You know what I'm saying? Riding ranges in the 305. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get like you. You know, Bitcoin Cash. Hey, Bitcoin Cash might pull the impossible too now. Don't think you know that it's down and out. I know some people that changed their life on Bitcoin Cash. So you know, got 76, 74. That's a clean pickup, right? Because like I said, after Thanksgiving, first week in December, we'll be back up around 81, 82. Granted, we could bottom out at 67. That's when you put down 2 and double up, pick up 6. In the casinos, they call that double down. You know, if it drop all the way down there to 67, you know, that's when you go to your mama and you be like, Mama, you got $100. Otherwise, they're at 82, buy it back at 76 and keep riding away. You know what I'm saying? Flip it, right? Australia, the Aussie drama. Good to see you, mate. Right? Japan is in the building, man. Shout out to my people in Japan. Logical Fields. No. We get couple more. I know that people always running in. And then if there's any coins that you want to see, like what charts do you want to see? That's gonna be actually the question of the day. I'll leave it. Just leave me a comment. Let me know how low will Bitcoin go. Is this the bottom? 5,600? What is it? 56.45? 57.41? Is the bottom in already? How low will Bitcoin go? That's gonna be the question down below. Let me know what you think about that. And then also hit that thumbs up button once I get over 100 likes. Somebody who leaves me a comment will win some free BTC. And that's how.
ETH was looking bad. Let's see what we got going on with ETH.
Alright guys, Sam here with you, November 14th. It's Wednesday, middle of the day, and of course we had some pretty substantial breakdowns across crypto here. Now, next up, by request, right? We always poll our members these days. Let them pick, and no surprise here, in addition to Bitcoin, request is for an update on Ethereum. Now, I've got Ethereum to the dollar here. This is an 8-hour chart on Bitfinex, simply because that's where the volume is. I think we've, of course, gone over this many times here, but with regards to where we are now and where we may be going here. So with the larger count here, there's a pretty strong case for this 5-wave structure. So we get a leading that 4 overlaps the 1 pretty substantially. And let's see, you know, in this case here, so we would look for, and I've shown this before, the length of the. If we look for a measurement between the 2 and the 3, when we come to the 50, we get a little through target. Remember, in a diagonal, we're looking for something technical in the 4 as relates to the start of the 1 and the pivot. I'm going to take this off so you can see a little better. And the pivot of the 4. All right, so we're just a couple of ticks in for that's the absolute just textbook. Again, I've shown this many times. Can't get any better than that. So we know the algorithms it's kicked in to sell here. It's slight front run on the 50. It's almost always a front run. They go to target to the tick. All right, so we can be fairly confident about this being a completed. So we've got a 5-wave structure, a motive wave. It's a leading diagonal of the A wave. Well, if
EOS getting killed.
Carry on. Okay, well I've got a 5-wave structure here.
I think that's one of the worst coins I've seen.
Here's my A wave. I'm looking for that B wave. Well, ideally, anywhere from the 50 to 6, well, really from 50 to 786. That whole range is a potential area for a B wave, but we don't make it here. So you're looking, you go, wonder. Well, maybe I've got to work from another pivot. Remember, algorithm doesn't care about the Elliott count. It's just working off of dominant swing. So here's certainly a dominant swing. We come down to that low. We've come right to the 50, and now we're approaching this target down here at 145. Right? So where are we sitting here now? We're at a little snapback here, 183. All right, so that's been there for a very long time, and I've looked at this many times, and can't ignore it. So it's been there the whole time. The software just sitting here. I'm gonna wait, not gonna touch it. Temptation. There is no temptation to take profit. They'll stay with it until they get that target. So that could be happening. That could be happening fairly soon here, based on what we're seeing here. We've just
see what our large trades. 57.
Targets one.
Nothing large going on there at all.
42. We're at 80. That's a little much for a front run here. So don't be surprised if there's more downside here to come down and tag that target. Now, sadly, unfortunately, or I guess it depends on what side of the market you're on, we don't have the same structural potential support here. We've broken through it. So we had some pivots here that may have offered some of that support that looked like they were hovering in that range, but we've got to break a little bit lower before we run into any untested support. Right? And that would put us below our target down. It's just ugly, right? There's no way around it. It's just a very ugly looking chart. So we here now, we have market acceptance down here, so let me just acclimate to this. You can see all this volume. Check that up a bit. You see all of this volume here, so this is visible range. So everything that I can see here, the most volume has taken place right here at 212. And now we're sitting here in the low 180s. You know, at this point, I don't know that trying to dig the count out of here is necessarily particularly helpful. I mean, it's a little bit of a, you probably make the case that we're in some sort of we can do that. Let's look at it here. So if this is the 3 here, well, we've had a pretty substantial extension here in the third, but of course we have to get that subdivision within the third. So we can look here. Well, if that's correctly identified as the 2, and that's my 3 low, well, we're awfully shallow. We don't even make the 23 for the 4. I can go down. Well, let's go to a 3-hour, see if we can get a better look at that. Now, this looks like the most likely candidate for the 2, given that's where we get at least a. We don't even make the 50 here. So it's the 38, right? So it's not that it's unheard of. It's just less probable. It's more common for that 2 to be up at the 50, but we've got to, again, on the assumption that I've got this correctly identified as our 1, and that's the 2. Well, we get the 38. Let's pull this off here. Well, you can note here, just it's ancient history here, but we go right to the target. Let's pull that off and say, well, would that make sense? If that's 1, 2, well, if this is the 2, how would the 3 relate to the length of that 1? Well, we can just grab here, use our alternate tool, and say, okay, well.
Sounds like a bunch of mumbo jumbo right now. 2,
let's get it right on there. Well, we got a little reaction here at the 618. A little sloppy around the 100. We've gone to the 272. We know the high here. We know where we would be lining up with those prior resistance peaks. So are we done here? Is that the 4? You know, maybe you make the case here that this is your 4, but even that still, you don't have a deep retracement here. So maybe you've got a triangle here. So you might think, oh, okay, well, looks like maybe that's the 4 there. We've got some sort of a little mini triangle that kicked in there. We're going down here. Well, it looked like maybe you had a chance that you were finishing down here, although the length of the 5 relative to the 1. The symmetry is not great, so it could just be that all we're in the midst of is that this is the 1, 2. Let's open that up here so you can see a little bit better, so it makes sense. So potentially that's just the 1, 2 of our 5th. So
we're going down.
Here, if that's 1, 2, well, this doesn't look terribly impulsive, at least not at this moment in time. Let's get that color here. We'll go,
I wish I could be playing this song.
Alright, so maybe.
Come on. Fly me to the moon.
So, does that look like, even if I stretch this is 1, let's think about where we'd be going. Well, it certainly doesn't look like we've got a classic third wave going, right? We can all agree on that. So I think maybe it's A, B, C. Maybe we can't have a triangle in the 2, so you kind of get yourself stuck here. If this is right, then that's the 1, 2. So you pull here. From 1 to 2. How do we look there? Well, right to the golden zone. All right, so I've got a strong contender for the 2. Problem is, what after that 2? This certainly not. Hang on, let's go down to a 1 hour, see if we can make any more sense of that. Certainly doesn't look like third wave here. It's very choppy here. If anything, it looks more like maybe you can make a case for a diagonal. So maybe we have an ending diagonal. So you might have an ABC here.
No way.
So coming off of this, we get an ABC into a 1. There's the 2. We don't overlap here. So maybe you can make that case that within this diagonal, if that's 1, 2, well, we're not going to be long enough there. So here, pull this off. I'm just trying to work through it and show you my thought process going here. Well, could that be 1, 2? Well, let's think about it. All right, so could we be finishing here if that's a 2? Well, that's not enough for us to be our third, right? So if we think about the length of the 1 relative to the 2, well, we got a long way to go to get to 100%. So maybe you're putting the 3 down here. So maybe this is 1, 2. That doesn't work either, right? So you're just riddled with Elliott problems here. So, what do you do with that? So maybe this is 1, 2, 1, 2. That doesn't really work because you'd overlapped here. So it's just full of problems. So then you kind of look at it and you go, well, okay, is the Elliott helping me here? Well, you got a couple of choices. Either the count's wrong.
You should be looking at resistance.
This third is maybe here. None of this plays. And that this would be more supportive to the idea. That would be just the 4 of the third, and some sort of a corrective something is going in here. Maybe you can make an AB truncated C, even that's not pretty, so why not take the ABC there? We know it was technical relative to this swing. So 3, 4, so maybe you're trying to finish here with a 1, 2 of an ending diagonal, something along those lines. Well, this is going to have more to go. So if this is our 3, this seems to work better. If that's our 3, starting here, if that 1 is in, well, we've gone to the 7, 8, 6, so that potentially could play.
This guy's just reaching, man. He doesn't know what the fuck is going on.
You'd have to have this as AB just going into the.
What do we got? Well, go down again. Be okay. I'll be an ABC. Okay. Alright, so 2 weeks 3A2, and the C is A to B 1 to 1. Alright, let's try a downward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's see, we'll take card 3 at 100%. So 3 would be 100%. Alright, we're not getting fib off this shit, so let's just do our support and resistance, which I already did from earlier, but let's see how it lines up. Alright, so let's see where our major levels are. So we're playing with 53, and then we got 49 after that. Let's see. 53, 49. 49 is good. It's this one. It's pretty good. Top there, window, top there for sure. Yeah. I mean, that's the most fucking volume that we've seen since fucking February. That's awesome. It's not consistent though. Yeah, so I don't know. Bitcoin looking a little sad right now. I don't know what's going on with the shit with Craig Wright. CXLM here. What's going on here with XLM? We're gonna get a run here. What do we got? Looks like it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. Let's take 3 up to 1 cent. 4 usually retraces back around the 1. Depends on the 2. The 2 retraced a decent amount. Let's not do that. Let's put this. It's going to bounce on that resistance level. So 3 looks like it's going to bounce off here. Yeah, maybe. It's possible. It's definitely possible. Yeah. Looks like it wants to see if it has to break this level right here. So let's mark it and set an alarm. Let us know. So if we break that, we'll say I'm starting the 3rd wave. That way I'll get the text. So I can stay on top of things. That goes. What you gonna do, Bitcoin? Definitely not looking great. What's Bitcoin Cash doing? Something was going on here. Somebody was manipulating that shit. Look at that. Whoa, 76 drop, 76% drop, and then bounce right back up. Holy shit. How the fuck? That's not real. That's a fucking fake out. That's not real. It can't be real. Well, let's see. Is anybody in the chats? I don't see anybody in the chats. Hours until BCH fork. I think I put it on my time. 15 minutes. I got a timer going here. Let's see if we got anything else. I'm surprised there's not more videos. Usually, well, I mean, there's a decent amount of videos, but when shit goes down like this, everybody gets on. And if Bitcoin starts going up like it did last year in November, get ready for everybody to get back on YouTube. Could be the reason why I'm starting now. Possibly. We'll see. Should have started last year. Let's see what we got. Naomi Blackwell, let's see what she's got to say.
Today we had an epic crash, plummeted $1,000. It lost over 10% of its value. I'm here with Chris Karabatz, otherwise known as a weekly recap show, joining me to chat about what is going on in the markets. Thank you, Chris, for being here.
It's great to be here, and it's always good to talk to somebody friendly on it today.
So there are a lot of reasons why the markets might have plummeted today. It's up for grabs as to what those reasons are, but we can definitely speculate.
We're breaking.
One thing, you've got Bitcoin cash wars going on at the moment. You've potentially got Craig Wright dumping a lot of money. There are also things going on in futures markets that might have affected what's going on today. So, Chris, what do you think? What do you think happened today that could possibly have led?
Let's go. Talking about this after the fact, it's always
XLM, let's
like
see what you
reading
got.
Chicken on trails, but it's always fun to do it because we are human beings and we like to find reasons for things. The big thing is, as you said, the Bitcoin Cash War, where Mr. Craig S. Wright is throwing all sorts of FUD everywhere.
And throwing a big hissy fit at the time.
My favorite tweet of him today is, to all BTC miners, if you switch to mine BCH, you'll use your BTC to fund this, and then everybody will sell, and that'll be a whole lot. So consider this and have a nice day. BTC to $1,000 does not faze me, is what he said. So he's trying to threaten everything, and he's talking about doing zombie mining, which is probably past this a little bit.
Zombie mining!
Basically, for every proof of work chain he can mine before shut down all
Called Satoshi Shikun.
access to. Over $20 billion in overall market cap today alone, which is a large number. I mean, that is more than pocket change.
That's a lot of market
But
cap.
I
think attributing that to Craig Wright is probably giving him a lot more credit
that's
than
more than
he
20.
deserves. This man is a lot of bark, kind of like an angry chihuahua.
Yeah, you don't want to give in to bullies in this. You don't want to give in to fear. I mean, basically, Craig sent that tweet out after this drop started. I feel it was him taking advantage of it and saying, "Oh, hey, look, this thing just happened. I better, start."
It's not true. He was sending those texts out for the past 3-4 days.
Someone who's capitalizing on
You're not paying attention. This shit is not a joke, people. You guys are playing like it's a game. It is not a game.
It's the
This is
hallmark of
big dollars playing. Big money, just having fun. Ever been to Vegas?
Making a lot of threats.
I barely go to Vegas, but when I go to Vegas, this is all I see. I feel like I'm in Vegas.
Yep, exactly right. And we'll see how this all. 18 hours until that network upgrade happens, so it'll be fun tomorrow night.
But it is what it is.
Oh boy. Okay, so what's happening in the futures markets that might have also affected the market today?
Well, in the futures markets, we have the CBOE closed today at about 2:45 Central.
Oh yeah, what did that do?
And,
Nada.
We talk about futures a lot.
Everybody thought he was going to pump Bitcoin back, and nothing happened.
But in the past, closing dates have been pretty big dates for manipulating prices. And
Not today, dude.
Some big players bet on a lower price and decided it didn't go low enough for them, so decided to kick things down a bit so their futures closed better.
So it's definitely a...
You wish.
Market. This is just what happens when you have the futures market playing in a pool as relatively small.
I didn't think about that. Craig Wright is probably playing the shorts market, making a bunch of his money back.
Have we seen any large number of coins move from particular accounts? I know that there are people out there watching certain accounts, especially ones controlled by government, like when you have crypto that's been seized, for example, just watching it to see when that's going to be dumped into the market. Have we seen anything like that?
I haven't seen any movement like that in Bitcoin, which I would have expected to, honestly, as things are gone. The real big movements have still just been a lot of those big accounts accumulating Bitcoin. So it's still not looking like it's dumping. It's still looking like these people are taking the opportunity to load up and hide the dip, I'd say. That is still the macro move that I'm seeing, where I'm not seeing a scary amount just showing up in the market selling. That being said, I haven't watched every block go by, and you never know what somebody might find tonight being moved around. And price movement like this does result in coins being.
Yeah, we will probably hear.
Coins be moving, yo.
Make sure to let everyone.
Come on, what you gonna do?
Get more information.
Come on, go.
But another thing to keep in mind.
Yeah, that's gonna be the third wave.
Plummets like this. Generally,
yep,
you think
watch.
People are being.
Watch it, guys. All you guys who doubt Fibonacci, watch. Watch the 7% gain right here. Well, I shouldn't count those. Count from here. Watch this 4% gain. Well, it's going to take a little while. Actually, it's going to play out by tonight.
I'm hearing a lot of word about that from a lot of different people, and there's real good evidence that we have big downward price movements like this that are abnormal and kind of out of the blue. You get really good rebounds out of it. And if you look at the daily chart over the last year, when you have big drops like this, you usually have a big spike afterwards. Now, this is, of course, not
man. This guy doesn't
advice or even predictions, because I hate prognosticating about this stuff.
Absolutely.
But
if this guy is expecting for us to get a spike after this, that means that other people are expecting it, which means we're not going to get it.
And especially when you have
when people expect things, they don't get them.
There are a lot of people out there who've been waiting for an opportunity.
So that's not good.
Crypto, and I say that they're looking at this, thinking that this is the best time to buy for them. So I would not be surprised if we rebound back in the other direction.
Yeah, right.
But again, no one really knows what's going to happen, so we just have to wait till that plays out.
The other thing to look at here is always good is the overall 24-hour volume.
Yeah, right.
Up a fair bit today. Again, there's a lot of good signs. I'm not sitting here saying everybody should lose hope. I think that this is just going to be one of those things that happens sometimes as we age.
Yeah, right. What the fuck is wrong with these
like
people?
We had 20 billion in volume today, and yeah, that picked up from low teens yesterday. So up from 12 billion to 20 billion today, which is a nice spike. And hopefully that means we're going to find our bottom here soon. And
Oh, shut up.
Now, one of the interesting things to
Quit fucking saying that shit.
Almost exactly a year ago, we had the SegWit 2X cancel. And right after that happened, Bitcoin dropped from in the mid 7,000s to almost 6,000.
And
that was really when
the fuck does that mean, dude?
Started last year.
There's a good thing to keep in mind. That was an epic bull run where we went all the way up to, we went up to 10,000 a week later, got up to 20,000, and everyone was like, what is going on? And obviously that rebounded just as quickly. So any giant movements like this, you know that there's going to be a balancing out after the fact. And if we look at the price, so we were at like 6,300 yesterday. Today we got down to 5,300. So as we said, a $1,000 drop in price. It's a big market movement that I think is going to be rebalancing itself.
It was definitely a short squeeze.
I'll bet you think that
accelerated that drop, and that happens quite a lot before we start going long. So I'm hopeful. I think it'll be a great weekend.
Absolutely. Well, I just wanted to check people updated on the markets. This was a giant move.
Is it possible?
To let people know what's going on and
yeah, it's possible.
What might be the reasons for all this. So thank you so much for chatting with me and going and enjoy the rest of your week.
Sorry, I was trying to get my stream all pimped out.
See you on Friday for the market recap.
See you then. Hopefully we have real good news to talk about.
Oh, shut up, dude.
Absolutely.
If you like my channel, please
if you like my channel,
be sure to subscribe.
Please subscribe.
And wanted to give a special shout out
send me money.
Awesome people
Please send me money. Alright, well, Bitcoin's not doing shit. XLM looks like it's gonna fix this. It will. Yeah. So we need to get 5 inside our 3, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see how this plays out. 2 at our, yeah, so it's not really low enough, I'm gonna guess. But we probably hit right at the 5. Wouldn't even go down to the 618. It's a pretty shallow retracement. So yeah. So where would that put our 3? Puts our 3 way up there. That's not the 3 I want though. I want to see this one. There. 2 barely retraced. So we know the saying is if the 2 retraces a lot, the 4 will not. It's the same. So if the 4 retraces a lot, the 2 will not. 2 a lot, 4 will not. Whatever. It's usually around the 1 though, which when I'm looking at it, that puts our 5 is a lot less likely. This is much more likely. That'll give us our 5 inside that 3. Our 4 will probably dump down since it'll be unexpected. And our 5 won't go that high. It'll probably play right around there, unfortunately. That's still okay though. That's a good range to be in. So we'll see how that goes. Is anybody in the chats? I don't see anybody in the chats. Sorry if I missed any chats. I don't think so. I don't think so, but let's see. No viewers. Maybe on Facebook I have some viewers. Come on, Bitcoin, you're just gonna fucking do this shit again? Yeah, it's gonna go down lower. It's not even pushing up at all. That's gonna be a tough one. What's Bitcoin Cash doing? Nothing special. Let's see what else. TRX, nothing. Icon, nothing. What's going on here with 8X? Well, we got some volume here out of nowhere. What, people think this is gonna, they're still going on those Coinbase rumors? Maybe. Maybe. Yeah, it's a totally different pump than XLM. XRP, nothing. XPG, nothing. Bitcoin, we already know about you. ADA, ARC. This is our Bitcoin Cash stuff. Oh, that's what it is. Any volumes? No volumes. Alright. Well, that seems like it is what it is for now, so I'll be here, but I won't be on the lag.
Simplest way to make money is really not rocket science. If you're looking at the chart trend, buy it and sell in the green. Buy on the way down, sell on the way up. And that delta is called profit. Lock that in and do it again. Buy in the red, sell in the green, right? And so this is actually buying season for Bitcoin Cash, obviously for Bitcoin, you know, because it's inevitable that it's going to bottom out and come right back, right? But real quick, let's just do this for BCH. If we do a Fibonacci from the floor to the top, this is basically limbo land. We could probably come down on it here. And this is basically giving us our little swing zone, right? Now, what's going to happen with Bitcoin Cash? We're up, we're going to come down, and then we're going to have to make a decision, right? I expect, like, Bitcoin Cash is like the whole show is off of it. You know what I'm saying? Bitcoin's playing with the house's money right now because Bitcoin stole all the spotlight, right? So BCH literally has no weight on its shoulders. And that's why, given this positive possibility, you could see a pop in BCH as early as Thanksgiving, right? This is going into the 24th to the 27th of November. I really wouldn't expect to see one before. You could possibly see a quick pop up there. If Bitcoin does like a little dead cat bounce on the way down, you could expect to see Bitcoin Cash bounce up only to come back down. But ultimately, I think after November, we will be going back up, right? I think it's a pretty good safe haven point, right? It's a pretty good safe haven point. One of the better ones on the market. XRP, on the other hand, is still looking very good, right? XRP, for those is a buy. 7. The blue is the 77. The white behind it is the 231. Right? When the white goes above the blue, you know what to do. Bam, bam, bam. Go get paid. You know what I'm saying? It's like Seabiscuit off to the races. Right? Grab your favorite horse and go get paid. Right? And XRP, and I actually gave this to the group not too long ago. I said it was setting up on a continuation breakout. Now, we did get hurt a little bit by this Bitcoin fiasco, so that's going to be like our ceiling right here for now. But you could see almost like a little wedge setting up to where
oh, God almighty, there's a fire. There's fire everywhere. There's fire here in California. There's fire in the markets because the markets are freaking bloody red, having dropped off of a cliff for crypto. We have red across the board today. I'm happy to see that you guys are here in the chat, already discussing what's going on early. I'm starting a bit early, but there's quite a bit I have to get through. And we're going to culminate with really talking about who our real villains are in the crypto sphere and outside of it, because we have too much inbreeding, infighting, all this random crap. But there are some things out there that we should be aware of, that we should be, coming together against. And so we're going to be exploring that, various other important news, and of course talking about what's going on in the markets right now. Okay, so first thing I saw when I woke up was I opened up Twitter and I follow this account called BitMEX Rect. Some of you might be familiar with that already. And pretty much when positions are liquidated on BitMEX, an exchange, positions for long or short, it goes ahead and tweets out some of these larger positions. And we see there it was just wrecked, liquidated long, liquidated long, liquidated long, liquidated. It was just like everywhere across the board. So I was like, what the heck is going on? So I opened up Blockfolio, as I'm sure many of you guys did. I'm glad you appreciate the shirt, Damien, and thank you, Nick, for hooking me up with the shirt, and Mariano at Maker at DevCon 4. But it was just like, what the heck? Everything was down substantially. So yeah, it's a fun account to follow if that's just a quick way you want to see what's going on. And so we're seeing right now that there's red just across the board. I took this just some time ago, this snapshot. We're seeing 15% for EOS, 18.71% for Bitcoin Cash. Crazy, right? Nobody seems to be safe here. I'm looking across the board. I couldn't find much green there on the first page of CoinMarketCap. It's kind of a scary thing to look at if you're trying to see green right now. And it's interesting because also we're seeing that for the first time, Bitcoin has crossed its 50-day exponential moving average with its 200-day exponential moving average, which is what is known as a death cross. And the last time that it happened to this level, this degree, was in December 2014, which actually signaled, as you can see there on the right, the bottom. It bottomed out in January 2015 after its death cross back then. So could this be a bottom? I suppose it's possible. Things have looked very similar historically when you follow the trends, comparable to past price movements. And so maybe we are finally heading toward a bottom. We saw the price go down from levels of, pretty badly, almost 33% back then. The price dropped, and now we're seeing about 12% drop offs. We're seeing $187 billion market cap ish for cryptocurrencies overall. So we're now down below the 200 billion and above that we've been at, pretty stable for a while. We're seeing that Bitcoin has about a 53.1% dominance, so nothing too crazy there, although it is looking like it's kind of peaking. So maybe this does portend some good moves going forward. Generally, some people like to see death crosses as a bearish thing, as a completely bearish thing. Perhaps that could be the case. You always have to keep that perspective up there. But it's also likely that we are in heavily oversold near-term conditions, and that would make us ripe for a bottom. And that would be a bottom. I was personally expecting some more pain. I've kind of hinted at that on a personal note throughout this channel for some time. I do not know if this is the bottom. I think I would be safe if we hit actually 5K in saying that it's a bottom. But again, dollar cost averaging, buying over time. This is how winners are made in different asset classes. And surely you're getting some nicer discounts than you have seen previously before. Bottom isn't zero. Yeah. So that's kind of what's going on right there. It's kind of, this is with the drop off that we saw today for Bitcoin. It just seemed to come out of nowhere. It could have gone either direction as the bands tightened, but it actually broke down. This is here on Bitfinex. The charts I showed you prior to this, the death cross, were on Bitstamp. Although we're seeing drops across the board, and obviously people who were hoping for the price to go up didn't get their way, and the shorts are beginning to pile back in, over 12% shorts on Bitfinex and climbing, so people are expecting it to continue to go down. And, you know, pretty much you usually want to do the opposite of what most people expect. People seem to have become a little bit more safe, complicit with things, and maybe this is it. Maybe this is, in fact, the bottom, right? So you do want to go against the general mainstream whenever possible. But it's like, you know, you're playing a game of reverse psychology now. So it can get tricky. I don't necessarily recommend trading. Just hodling, you know, holding your private keys, usually being the best way to do things. So we're going to talk about also Bitcoin Cash, because Bitcoin Cash is getting ready for its probably most contentious hard fork in its existence, and one of the most anticipated hard forks for any cryptocurrency since, you know, the Bitcoin Cash was created last year. And so this hard fork is going to be coming up around 11:40 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. Exchanges are beginning to put you know, suspensions on withdrawals, on deposits, on trading prior to this, and seeing what kind of happens after the hard fork and which chain survives. We are seeing that support actually for the Bitcoin Cash SV chain is climbing. So that's Satoshi Vision and Craig Wright's chain. We're seeing that if you just include CoinGeek, which is in support of the Bitcoin Cash pool, obviously Satoshi Vision pool, then they have, you know, 60% of the mining hash power right now, and then there are other pools here as well, which lead the total amount of support that they have to around 78%. So before we were seeing that, you know, the price for the futures was trading up to 10 times more for the ABC chain, but now it's actually almost at parity, where you're seeing when I did this, when I put this together, prices were about $253 for the futures for Bitcoin Cash ABC, and a price of $216 for Bitcoin Cash SV. So almost the same price, when before it looked like price only Bitcoin Cash ABC was leading significantly. So now it's trading much closer in range there. So it looks like, you know, Bitcoin Cash SV is getting more and more support, more and more strength, and it seems like right now that could perhaps be the winner. And obviously you have a lot of businesses that are in support of the Bitcoin Cash ABC, but hash power is seeming to go SV's way, as you can see. So it's insane. So basically two of the just major differences that are happening here is the Bitcoin Cash ABC chain is trying to pave the way for atomic swaps to allow for swapping between different blockchains, natively on the blockchain, different assets. And they're trying to pave the way also for smart contracts and possibly tokens in the future on that chain. And then you have the other side that is trying to increase the blocks to 128 megabytes per block, which is interesting considering that the Bitcoin blockchain itself is growing way more. It's something like 58 gigabytes, I believe, bigger than the Bitcoin Cash side. So it's not necessarily something that's really necessary right now at this point. But that's kind of the differences, major differences that we're seeing technically here. Obviously, there are factions that are on both sides, in support of both sides, and we'll just have to wait to see what happens after this, after we get all the collateral damage and everything, and the dust settles, right? So we'll have to just wait, and you should keep in mind that if you are keeping your funds on an exchange, try to find out on the blog or the Twitter account for whatever exchange you're keeping your funds on, what exactly they're going to be doing with these Bitcoin Cash that you're holding there. If not, keep your stuff on your private keys, on your wallet, and just wait to see what happens before you really move things. There is a potential for replay attacks I don't believe either of the chains is implementing replay attack protection, so you could have double spending problems. We also know that Bitcoin Cash SV is supposedly planning to attack the other chain, Bitcoin Cash ABC, even if they win, in order to destroy it completely. Also, there was an interview. Thank you for the Crypto Show for letting me know. You can check that out. I linked to it yesterday, actually, in the comments, but it was an interview between Craig Wright and the Crypto Show, Danny Sessom, heading that up out there. And you know how we talked about yesterday that Craig Wright might want to ultimately attack Bitcoin. It seems that he says, actually, that by next year, due to fatal flaws that Bitcoin inherently has, it's actually going to kill itself. There's no necessity for that. So I guess we'll have to wait to see if that prediction comes true. Here's some Bitcoin Cash fun facts, which to share with you guys. So it is currently 26.432x to transact in the Bitcoin network in US dollars. It is currently 30.3% more profitable to mine on the Bitcoin chain, and they actually share hardware due to the SHA-256 algorithm that they share for mining. And the Bitcoin chain has grown by 52.57 gigabytes more than the Bitcoin Cash blockchain. So maybe that's the one that needs more on-chain scaling, but of course there's more differing views on that perspective, of course. So continue forward here. Let me just check any super chats there. Cool. All right, we're good. We'll continue here. So let's talk about the Coin Mine 1. So this is a device that's being put out. It's going to begin shipping in December, mid-December actually of this year. It's got backers like Coinbase Ventures, Anthony Pompliano of Morgan Creek Digital, who's known for his Off the Chain podcast. And this device is going to be retailing for $799. You can go over to coinmine.com to purchase one if you're interested. It's supposed to look just like an Xbox, hence the name CoinMine 1, Xbox One. And it's kind of low profile. They're saying it only uses 120 watts of power, so it's pretty much like a PS2. It is about as loud as rustling leaves or whispering at 20 decibels. I looked that up on industrialsomething.com. Let me see if I can actually find the website here in case you're interested. That industrialnoisecontrol.com. It runs its own proprietary mining operating system called Mine OS. You can basically view the earnings after you plug in this device. It's Wi-Fi enabled, and you can view the earnings on a mobile app. You have to keep in mind that the company actually that is operating this and creating this keeps the funds in their possession, I suppose, until you withdraw, and they charge a 5% fee. But considering that the wattage is pretty low, it's expected to mine around 29 millihashes per second for Ethereum, which is not too terrible. Monero at 900 hashes a second, Zcash at 320 hashes a second. It also mines Ether Classic. It's going to update itself, so it's really meant for somebody who doesn't have extreme technical expertise to set up one of these devices themselves and wants to pick it up on the rather cheap by just plugging it in. Granted, you're not going to be making too much profit right now, considering this is more of a forward-looking thing. If you mine now and you keep that ether or whatever you're mining in the future, it could be worth substantially more, and that's kind of the bet if you get into the mining game. You're also expected in the future to be able to run a stake for a Bitcoin Lightning node, Dfinity, or Filecoin right on the device. So if that's of interest, that's something to consider as well for yourselves. And yeah, it does require that trust, so keep that in mind. That company is going to store that for you. And also keep in mind that if this device does sell millions or tens of millions that they're expecting, more people are going to be mining, and that means you'll probably be earning less. But that's also going to distribute the network more, allow more people to get into the validation of these networks, and therefore distributing it into more nodes around the world. And therefore, that should technically give these decentralized networks even more value based on that metric. So let's look at some stuff here. So that's another picture of it here. Nice. Looks like one of those Amazon Alexa commercials. So those are some of the specs. Again, 120 watts, less than a PlayStation, they're saying. 29 millihashes a second for Ethereum, Wi-Fi enabled, and it's quieter than a desktop computer. I've also heard it runs at 40 decibel elsewhere, and that would be about as loud as an average household refrigerator. And these things do get loud. I've been mining myself, and these things, it's crazy, right? And then you have to install a fan to point at these devices. This thing has its own internal cooling. This is the GPU that the specifications have listed on the website, so it's running on Radeon RX 570, 256-bit 4 GB graphics card. So it is GPU. It's not an ASIC. It's not going to be able to really mine Bitcoin for any sort of profit. I mean, you could probably try it if you're able to do the OS and tweak it yourself, but it wouldn't really be worth it anyway. You can pick up these cards actually much cheaper for about $256. They're available on Amazon, whereas you'd be buying this device for $800. So something to keep in mind there. You can also head up to one of my favorites, CryptoCompare.com, and check out how long it's going to take you to earn back your investment, right? Your return on investment based on the hashing here, based on how much hashing power you have on your GPU or multiple GPUs, based on how much wattage and power consumption you have, and what coin you're mining. So that's also a good source here. You can see you can also breaking even if you buy an almost $500 GeForce GTX 1070 Ti Founders Edition Ethereum. It's going to take you, to get to break even 104,577 days at these levels. So gambling, it's kind of gambling if you're going to be now based on what price you personally think these cryptos will be worth in the future. Back when I was mining with Ethereum was like $10, I placed, I thought Ethereum was going to shoot up. Luckily, I guess I was somewhat right in that regard, right? So what's your thoughts on XRP being number one? I don't know what you mean by number one, XRP Raffle. Thank you for the $2. I really appreciate it. I don't know. I don't think banks are going to want to replace what's already working for them, or Swift isn't going to want to get replaced by Ripple, and so they're taking steps to counteract that. I think they could take share for something like Western Union, which they make something like $32 billion a year for remittances. It's absolutely possible. I don't know what you mean by number one as far as cryptocurrency. I don't think it's that kind of decentralized solution that we'd like to see in the world that's open source. We don't know the creator, allows people to keep their money in there. We know Ripple controls a lot of the amount of Ripple in their possession they could sell. They do, in fact, sell every single month a certain amount, and they have publicly stated this. It's quite centralized in a few holders. There's not that many nodes that can be run. It's not a public node. It's a permissive node. So in regards to competing with Bitcoin, I can't see it ever becoming number one, but maybe competing with some of these other remittance services, it perhaps could take some of the spotlight from those. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so there was this tweet that went out yesterday, which was November 13th. That was actually a promoted tweet right on the Google G Suite account, which has been since deleted. It said Google is giving 10,000 Bitcoin to all the community. It said we decided to make the biggest crypto giveaway in the world, and now you can make payments in G Suite, all their different services, Google Mail, Google Photos, all this other stuff, using cryptocurrency. You can participate in this giveaway. So basically, it was a scam. It seems that it was an unauthorized tweet. Spokespersons from Twitter and Google don't know how this happened, although they are going to be investigating how somebody got access to do this, and it's something we see constantly. So even if you're going to be, going to a verified Twitter page, be cautious, especially if something looks too good to be true. This was basically a sweepstakes where you would send Bitcoin, and supposedly they would put you in a lottery to get some of this money, but it was absolutely not true. The account in question is currently on lockdown pending investigation, and it's something we see a lot, people impersonating other people, especially Elon Musk or Vitalik Buterin trying to give away ether or whatever it is. Just be cautious out there. I have my own impersonators. There's a new one that's on Instagram to be me. It's like Crypto's News instead of Crypto's News, and I urge you caution if you're going to be interacting or getting messages from these accounts, or if they're trying to give away things. So this is really, I would say, something that's really contentious for people who believe in that decentralized movement, a fair world, right? Because this is a comment that was put out in regards to Christine Lagarde. So let me just read some of the stuff here that I found, which is Christine Lagarde, Managing Director and Chairwoman of the International Monetary Fund. So really the central bank for central banks, the IMF. And she is encouraging, based on something she said yesterday, the exploration of central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs. that's a new acronym, in the light of decreasing demand for cash and rising preference for digital money. We've seen, central banks tinker with this before as they try to move us away from a cash world to something that they can more easily track in the digital world, and try to say, hey, you guys are already using credit cards. You guys don't need cash. This isn't going to hurt you. This is going to make it easier to track criminals and to track terrorists and all of this, when, basically no money is used for terrorist financing through something like Bitcoin. But regardless, these were some of the comments said. It was pretty terrible that India actually did this last year when they destroyed denominations for the 500 and 1,000 rupee note. It wasn't go very well. But they're trying to move forward with this. So, prepared speech for the Singapore FinTech Festival yesterday, she said, I believe we should consider the possibility to issue digital currency. There may be a role for the state to supply money to the digital economy. Various central banks around the world are seriously considering the issuance of digital currency, including Canada, China, Sweden, and Uruguay, she said. They're embracing change and new thinking, as is indeed the IMF. She noted that major cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP are also vying for a spot in the cashless world, constantly reinventing themselves in the hope of offering more stable value and quicker, cheaper settlement. However, at the same time, the IMF has also criticized the view that public cryptocurrencies offer an alternative to CBDCs, of course. And in a new report that also came out at the same time as a speech yesterday that was prepared, and it was titled Casting Light on Central Bank Digital Currency, the IMF said cryptocurrencies are different along many dimensions and struggle to fully satisfy the functions of money, in part because of valuations. There is a trade-off between privacy and financial integrity too, she said, adding that central banks might design a digital currency, but anti-money laundering and terrorist financing controls would nevertheless run in the background. So pseudo-anonymity, right? Really something that they can control, that they're aware of. Maybe we, between ourselves, can't be too aware of. This setup would be good for users, bad for criminals, and better for the state relative to cash. Of course, challenges remain. My goal at this point is to encourage exploration. Also, Stanley Young, global lead for central bank digital currency, again CBDC, solutions at IBM, said that CBDCs that contributed to the 2008 financial crisis. Young also spoke on his perspective of how to overcome the fragmentation of existing digital payment systems during an interview on CNBC's Squawk Box today. CBDCs, or national digital currencies, are virtual currencies that are issued and controlled by a federal regulator. CBDCs are not decentralized like most cryptocurrencies. Instead, they represent fiat money only in digital form, and a kind of money that these central banks can control, whereas they can lose control of cash, how much cash is in circulation, digital cash. When it's something that's numbers on the screen, where it's more easy to track than having to manipulate interest rates, I think this looks like the future they're betting on when we have some sort of next crisis introduce a CBDC. So people talked about this Fed coin like it was some sort of myth, something that, was this terrible boogeyman in the closet that is just a boogeyman, something to just talk about and would never come to light. It looks like they're actually getting prepared to launch a digital currency and move us away from public cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum and into a system that they can more easily control. It's not the narrative I think would be the best for the average person, but would be the best to keep those who have been in charge manipulating things in charge longer and for the foreseeable future. So we should definitely be keeping that conversation brewing and staying invested in what's going on and letting them know we won't stand for this. We want public cryptocurrencies. We want things that are actually decentralized, and we do not need your money when we already have solutions that are working. Granted, you're right, scalability isn't there, but we are working on it, and some of the more brilliant minds are working on this in an open source fashion rather than having your closed developers control what's basically a centrally managed database. Don't throw blockchain in there just because it's going to help you, right? I think people are not buying that fraud. Thanks, Elias, for the Canadian $5. Dollar cost average people. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Yes, absolutely. I thank you for reminding us there, Elias. That's a good way to put it. I appreciate that, brother. So yeah, I'm a little bit upset about that. That probably upsets me more than anything else today, is to see that actually moving forward with these plans, and we need to continue educating and talking about truly good networks that are public and permissionless, not censorship prone, controlled, managed cryptocurrencies that are not really cryptocurrencies, but just digital fiat. Fiat being government decreed money. So Bank of America also won a patent, and patent that allows them to basically custody cryptos for enterprises and large businesses. They said on the patent, enterprises may handle a large number of financial transactions on a daily basis. As technology advances, financial transactions involving cryptocurrency have become more common. For some enterprises, it may be desirable to aggregate cryptocurrency deposited by customers in an enterprise account. The filing was awarded by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office on Tuesday and contends that large companies, specifically enterprise-level institutions, may want to store cryptocurrencies for customers should cryptocurrencies see wider adoption. So Bank of America has been filing and winning patents since time immemorial. They have, I believe, more patents than any other company out there in this space. Microsoft has some patents. JP Morgan has patents. And these patents are basically a way to sue anyone who tries to do similar technology in the future, because they own the rights to exclusively use this service or technology without, especially if others don't license it from them. So just, something where we're seeing a clash between this new kind of line of thinking of code is law, of decentralization, of solving things on the blockchain, which granted we're not completely there yet, and competing with kind of the old judicial system, patents, things that are dated and things that are not open source. And so just wish to share with you what's going on there. Surely they'll continue to try to file patents. It's one of those things that Craig Wright has done. He's going after Bitcoin Cash ABC, he has said, going back to what we talked about earlier. He's going to go after them, not even just with mining power. Even if Bitcoin Cash SV, Satoshi Vision, wins, he's going to go after them through litigation, going after them with patents that he owns and through the law. So that's interesting to see somebody who calls himself Satoshi. I don't know. I guess food for thought. All right, guys, so I'm going to leave it there. I appreciate you guys making it out for the chat. Let me know what you guys think is going on. Are you buying at these levels? Are you selling at these levels? Do you think that the IMF has are good? Is good, bad, or ugly for the cryptocurrency space and for humanity overall? And I appreciate you guys, again, taking the time to make it out and stay informed. I honestly think yesterday was kind of a slower day as far as news, but today things have just propelled forward, volatility-wise, volume higher than anything we've seen, again, in recent history. And I think that there's a lot of things that are coming together in so many different ways, and I'll follow them here with you guys day in and day out. So take care, guys. Much love, and stay crypto.
After our little introduction to each other, he said, so, two of them, very wealthy. Two of them, not very wealthy. Which one are worried about the price? It isn't the two wealthy people. It's the two poor people that were worried about the price. It's important, but not right now. Let me explain what I'm in it for. I'm in it for the revolution. As I say, I'm in it for the change, not the change. When I originally got into cryptocurrencies, I saw a way out. I saw a way to actually take a problem and change it. See, we all have a reason that we're here. Mine may be different than yours. The reason I'm here to get rid of the old system. I'm here to help lead a revolution to freedom. I want us to be free. I don't want to make a lot of US dollars. I want to make a lot of US dollars worthless. I want us to look at our money differently. I want us to look at our labor completely differently. I want you in control of your money. I want me in control of my money. I don't want any of the middlemen I don't want the bankers. I don't want the regulators. Because regulators are not here to help us. Regulators are here to regulate the system. They don't worry about what is good for us. They worry about what is good for the system. If something like cryptocurrencies actually comes along, it isn't they're looking at it from our actual point of view and saying, you know what, this will be really good for the people. No. They say this is really, really, really plucking bad for the system. There was a super chat. Let me address it. Let's see. The Money Changers, $2. Thank you. Love what you guys are doing. I like your name too, the Money Changers, because we're here to change the money. You're absolutely right, my friend. We're here to actually take our back. For 100 years, actually more than that, we have had a centralized currency that lets us know what we can and cannot do with our money. It's not their choice. We have been lied to for so long that we need the government. We need the regulations. We need somebody to tell us what to do. We're too stupid to do it ourselves. They think that a ruling elite, that a group of humans up in a city needs to tell us what we can do, that we need their laws, we need their regulations, that society would just fall apart if it wasn't for the politicians or the bankers. Well, my friends, that's an absolute lie. Absolutely. We don't need them. They need us. Understand the value of your labor. Understand that the rich people, and I'm not talking about the average Joe. I'm not talking about the little small business owner who owns the trucking company I work for. He's not the bad guy. I'm not even talking about the small credit union president who runs your local credit union. I'm talking about the Federal Reserve and the global elites in the banking system. I'm not even talking about your local representatives in your town. I'm talking about the people who you see ads on television that tell you that they're there to help you. No. Remember, most of the people who tell you that you need their help only want your money. I guarantee it. They could give two shits if they really help you. If people wanted to help you, you know what they'd do? They'd let you actually keep your money that you earn. We live in a system that prints up and creates a currency out of thin air. And then they tell us that we have to be, that we have to pay taxes so that we have roads and bridges. Really? But you're just printing the money out of nothing. And we owe you for ruling us? That we owe you for anything? We don't owe you jack shit. You owe us our freedom. You owe us respect. You owe us 100 years plus of our families' labor. My dad's, my grandfather's, your dad, your grandfather's, your mother's, your great-grandparents, who worked their ass off to create this world, while the rich people, and I'm, like I said, not the average rich person, the wealthy people who created the system have been living off of the labor of the people for far too long. Well, let me tell you one thing. They're starting to notice us. They're starting to notice us more and more. Because I'm starting to get phone calls from people that I wouldn't think would call me, but they do. And let me tell you what one of the rich people who called me today said. After our little introduction to each other, he said, so, when do you want to come out and have a little conversation on your future? And I said, my future? And he goes, oh yeah, you have a great future ahead of you. And I go, I do? I go, why don't you tell me about my future? Super charming guy. And he said, your future is anything you want it to be. So when can I fly you out here and you and me have a little conversation? And unfortunately for him, I don't think I'm going to have any time to fly out and go see him. I got a lot of traveling I got to do. All of these, every single month of next year, I'm making it my mission to reach as many people as I can to get them into cryptocurrencies. Because I know the plan. These rich people know the plan. Do you think it's coincidence that the head of the IMF just today was talking about, creating some cryptocurrencies at the central banks? See, they confused. They want the efficiency of cryptocurrencies, but they want the control. My job and what I have made it my mission to do is to Johnny Appleseed this motherfucker all next year and tell everybody to choose freedom. If they create a cryptocurrency that is issued by the global banks, fuck them. Tell them they can keep it. Because what do you think that I'm out here doing? What do you think John Kim is out here doing? What do you think all of the other Litecoin people are out here doing? Why do you think there is a hashtag pay with Litecoin? We choose what currency we use. And if we have enough people and enough small businesses and enough of a community that accept cryptocurrencies, then we, my friends, all of a sudden have our own economy. We use our own currency, where we don't use Amazon. Tell Amazon to kiss our ass. We hop on another website that accepts Litecoin and is inside of our economy, or accepts whatever, Ripple, whatever. Now, of course, not Ripple, but pardon me. But we shop at places that accept cryptocurrencies. That's what I'm moving towards. And that way that we drain the economic energy from the other places, like Walmart. What if you could go shopping at a place like Walmart or Amazon and it was strictly cryptocurrency? What if someone was creating a website like Amazon, but it was only products that accept cryptocurrency? I wonder if somebody created that, what would that be like? What would No one cares. Exactly. Crypto Mart. Create that. Create that website. These companies link together and offer their product at Crypto Mart. And then people who want to shop with cryptos go to not Amazon, Crypto Mart. And everything is paid for with Litecoin or Bitcoin or Ethereum, whatever. No, I understand what you mean when you say we need stability. But we are judging it against the U.S. dollar. That is going to gradually change. My friends, like I say, I'm in it. They only have power if you give them your power. My friends, like the title of this episode says, revolutions have a price, and it's not measured in US dollars. It's measured in freedom. How free do you want to be? How free do you want your children to be? How free do you want your grandchildren to be? That's the question you should be asking yourself. Not what the price is today. Because we're still slaves. And every time you sell your coins out of fear, you are selling your freedom. Hodl your freedom. Hodl your children's freedom. Hodl your grandchildren's freedom. We're in it for the change, not for their change.
We in it for the change.
We are the people. They are nothing without us. Love you. That's the show for this evening.
Check, check. Check, check, 1, 2. Check. Check, check, 1, 2.